Okay, so in C, have yourself a merry, merry little Christmas. The basic 1, 4, 5 is C1. Have yourself, then 5 chords, do 5, 7. You know, they'll just major add. Almost always do that 5, 5, 7. We'll use that for the chord that it can be. And do it again. Right. Then 1, 4. And then 4 and 5. 5. It's 1. Dun, dun, what is that again? I'm losing the melody here. It's the best we can do with those 3 chords. There are no, perfect things. We're going to try and find those more perfect sounds by doing some substitutions. So the first thing, remember when you're doing a 1 chord, you can do either a 6 chord or a 3 chord. And let's just start doing these all as 7th chords right now, just to kind of get some of these extensions in. So instead of the 1 chord, major, rock, folk, major, do the jazzy 7th chord. Start on 1. So start on 1, make a 7th chord. That's, the frets are 8 and 8, and in the middle, 9 and 9 on the 4th string and 3rd string. 7, 8, 7. Just try and keep that this string. You don't want to end up coming out there. So again, it's 8 here, here, 9 and 9 on the middle 4th string. That's good. That's it. That's the 1 chord. So we can replace that. The first most basic rule, we need to get some minor chords in there. If we're just using 1, 4, and 5 to be able to start creating substitutions, that first rule says substitute 6 or 3 for the 1 chord.
Okay.
So instead of doing that, we can go up to here and do 6 or 3. So we have number 6. And that one, the minor chord, just think of the regular, folksy, regular triad minor chord. Lift up your pinky. More jazzy variation is to take the root note, put your middle finger on it, and do this 9th chord. Put your middle finger on the 12th fret, do the 9th chord, and remember what the 9th chord looks like for dominant. It looks like with the pointer finger there, we're just going to slide it down 1. They're all kind of stacked. That is a replacement for this. That's a 6th chord. The 6th with a minor 9th, okay? Also the 3 chord. To the 3 chord, and we'll do that as a 7th. So instead of the little triad with both your pinky and your ring, you can lift up your pinky and get a 7th chord. Make sure on 3. So count to 3. 1, 2, 3. That would be on the 12th fret here in the key of C. That's it. Again, if you want to add a 9th or 13th to that, you can add your pinky on the 1st string or 2nd. You can add either of those fingers to get a little more jazzy sound. So you could do something like this. Have yourself, or have yourself, or maybe have yourself. Any of those will work as substitutions for the original.
Okay.
I'm just going to do a 1, have yourself, or have yourself, like that one. That's the 9th chord. Well, I'm on the 6th note. Instead of this, doing a minor 9th. Well, the one where all the fingers are stacked up and your pointer finger slid down. That is the 9th version that corresponds to that chord. Here's your triad. Here's the 7th version, and you can do that as a substitute. So that's one of those rule number 9 extensions. You can 7th, 9th, and 13th.
Okay.
So we're taking a 7th on the 1 chord, putting a 9th on that 6th chord. That 6th chord is a diatonic substitution, putting 6 in place of 1.
Okay, I get that.
So, now for the 5 chord. The 5 chord came next. Instead of this 7th chord, we can do the same thing. We can go to a 9th chord. And this one up here was minor, so your pointer finger was slid down, just like, here, this finger is slid down. Your If we're on the 5, go to the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. Right there, and make a 7th chord dominant. That's it. Okay. So the other version of this that we can use, another quick little substitution for that, is just to make a extended 9th. That looks like that with your pinky, because pinky is here in this shape. We're doing a 7th dominant. This is the minor version of this. If we were doing that, would be that's your pointer finger would move down a fret. So if you're doing this shape, your pointer finger down. You're doing this shape, where your pinky and your ring finger are at the same frets, then you do this shape where, in this case, it's 10, 9, 10, 10. Cool? Make sense?
Should you repeat that
if you're doing a dominant chord, so like here's a 5, 7. You do this shape. If you're doing a minor chord, where your middle finger is here, you know, like out of a minor shape, you just move your pointer finger down a fret.
Doing like a 3.
A 6. Yeah, 6. So make a 6 minor. Lift up your pinky. This one, because the third of the chord right there is your pinky. Yeah. We're taking that and moving it down to make it minor. A minor chord. That's the difference between dominant and minor. That one note's moving down. Well, up here, that note is here in this an octave lower. So this is the dominant chord. This is the minor. Just moving the pointer finger down 1 fret. That makes it minor. Right here on the 4th string, move your pointer finger down a fret. That makes it minor. So these are the replacements for one another. The minor replacement has the pointer finger shifted down a fret.
Okay.
When you're doing the 5 chord, that's a dominant. So you're going to have the pointer finger right there.
Okay.
Not there. Okay. Cool. So far we have a 1, 6 minor, and then 5. We can go. But remember, anytime you have a 5 chord, you can do a 2, 5.
Right.
So we're going to do a 2 there. We'll also play a 2. It's a D in this case. And again, instead of just doing the triad minor, do a pinky, lift your pinky up. And then we add that, the 5 chord as a 9th chord. 5. So it's a 5 dominant. Original chord is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there. That's 4, 5. 5 chords, 5, 7. Dominant. 5 dominant. And the 5 chord in all these kind of basic harmonizations can always be a 7th chord. Okay, so we're taking that and doing that with it. What we just did a second ago. Add the 9th chord. Put your middle finger on the root note. That's it, and play the 9th chord. So, instead of just doing a 5 chord, we're doing a 2-5 using a 5 chord an extension. And again, you could add your pinky on the 1st string. Try that for the 2 chord. Go back to the 2, make it minor. Lift up your pinky so that it's a 7th chord. 1, 2, it's at the D, 10th fret. Make a minor there. Regular minor. Just make a regular minor, 2 chord. Make a minor chord. Regular minor, 2 minor. Think about 2 minor. That's major, make it minor. That's it. That's a regular 2 minor. Okay, now lift up your pinky. So you're doing this. Lift up your pinky, make it 7. That's it. Don't need your middle finger at all. Yeah. That's the minor that you need. Just like you did this 6 minor, you lift up your pinky here. And just like, this is a major, that's a 7th.
Okay.
Lift up your pinky, you get the 7th chord. So here we're doing a minor chord, lifting up the pinky, about a 7th. So what I was saying is, let's add your pinky on the 1st string. That gives you a little more, a little jazzy sound, a little more sophisticated sound. So we're going to get this. I'm doing a little sliding to make it sound even a little more interesting. Cool. So all we do is we started with 1 and 5. And we turn the 5s into 5 7s because you can always do that. Cool. So now we got some. We can do that twice. We can go 1. Here's the minor 6 replacement for 1. Here's the 2/5 replacement for 5. I can do that again if I wanted. But instead of doing it again, let's keep the 2/5 and do the 5. And instead of the 1 chord, we're going to back cycle from the 2/5.
Okay.
So that means in some of that space with the C chord, and some or all of that time when we had the C chord the second time around, we're going to place it with something else. And the way we're going to get that something else is by back cycling from what we had next, which was D minor and G7. So the chord we're going to back cycle from is D. So instead of the C chord, we're going to play these back cycle chords. Take that chord. The way you get the back cycle, on the 6th string, you go up, string and a fret. Or if you're on this string, you go down, same fret. Okay. So we're on a D. We're on the 2 chord. We're going to replace, we're going to back cycle to that. So the back cycle here is, the one we back cycle, and we're going to back cycle one more to get a whole 2/5. Whenever you back cycle, you can do a dominant chord, right? When you're, yep, exactly. Yeah, you back cycle twice basically.
Okay.
You can always back cycle with a 2/5 progression. So, because remember, whenever you have a 5 chord, you can do a 2 chord.
Okay, right.
Right? So, the one guideline though is when you're doing 2/5s, if you're approaching a minor chord, which is what we're doing, we're back cycling from the original minor chord, you do a minor 2/5. That means take an altered 5 chord. This one should be altered. And then the minor chord, the one that would be minor in the 2/5, is altered, minor 7/5. So this is a basic guideline. You don't have to think this through every time. Whenever you've got a minor chord, you can back cycle with this minor 2/5. Cool? Whenever you're back cycling from a minor chord, you can do that.
Okay.
And whenever you're back cycling from a major chord, see, look how it fits. So this is 1. So if we wanted to back cycle from that, we'd go 2, 5, 1. No matter where we are. If we were on a G, you could go, if we're on a G major chord, you can go. Cool?
Okay.
And you use those 2 chords to approach the major chord.
Okay.
When you're doing the minor chord, it looks like this. Or however you do that altered chord. So if we're back cycling to the 2 chord, to the minor 2 chord, we're going to use this, the 2/5 of that 2 chord. Go up right here, make it a minor 7/5. So if your original chord is D, go up 2 frets. And make a minor chord. So putting my middle finger, in this case we're on an E, 12th fret, and then you skip a string, get the next 2 strings, so it's 12, skip a string, 12, 12, and then your pointer finger goes on 11. So minor 7, like this is a minor 7th chord, we're just not getting the string, we're making that a minor 7/5. So we're just getting these notes of it, and flatting that fifth. The fifth is on the 2nd. So that's the minor of the 2/5. And then for the alteration, here's the 5 notes. So if we had for example, a C chord there, C shape there. We're going to do a little bar. I'm taking this note and moving it up, which you can get with a bar there. So this shape is ring, middle, and then bar. Just remember that fingering. Yeah, I'm not playing first string. Because we don't have an interval that we can grab. We could grab maybe if we wanted. But in this case, just remember that is the back cycle for a minor chord. So whenever you have a minor chord, you can play those, or any other voicing of those chords. Up here it looks like this. It's one of those 2/5s that we were working on. One of those shapes. Down here it would look like minor 7/5 on that same note. And then, cool. That's what's written out on the sheet. Cool. So we're doing a 2/5 of that D minor chord. We're just doing the back cycle. And you can do that anywhere you want. So now, where that was in place of the 2nd C. Remember we did, again. First time we did a C, now we can do it again, but instead of C, I'm going to do that back cycle. And maybe instead of this, I'll do the sharp 5 chord there too. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Cool. cycle. So you have cool. Now we do a C to an F. So this time around, looks like I did a couple of just of the diatonic substitutions. E minor. So remember, instead of the C, you can do E minor. You can do a 3-chord. Yeah, just a 3 minor. That's instead of another C chord. Our original harmonization was 1-5-1-5, which we've already done, then 1-4. So I'm going 1-4 now. The substitution for the 1 I'm playing is a 3 minor. The substitution of 4, remember one of those diatonic substitutions of 4 is 2. So I could maybe play a 4 major and then D minor. Cool. So I'm going to get something like this. Back cycle. And then we have, and then back to. At that point, I need to go to another 1. So this time, instead of the 1, I did an A minor. Cool.
6.
Yeah, I did 6 instead of the 1. And the next chord is another F. So what? 1-5-1-5, 1-4, which we just did, and then another 1, which is where we are right now. I did a 6 instead. And then a back cycle to the F. So the back cycle for the F, again, is just like that. You take the original chord, you go here, you play a dominant chord. So here's your 4 chord. Right there. Make a major, and I'm doing a major 7 chord. Major 7. So you had it. Go and make that 7th chord again, and add your middle finger. So this is our like basic triad. Yeah, if we want to jazz it up a little bit, you try to do 7. That's a major chord. So instead of playing a major 4, major 7. And then I did a D minor. And look, if this is the chord that we're going to precede it with a back cycle. Make a 7th chord there. And you could maybe use a regular 7th chord, so we can take a 13th maybe. That's right, keep the 7th chord, just add your pinky on it. So now we're getting something like this. And do the minor 6. So remember, we're doing a C to F. Instead of that, I'm taking an A minor, back cycling, going down. So all that was instead of C and F, I did an A minor instead, or maybe this one, and then a back cycle to the F, and that's in place of the C. Doing that instead of the C, and then the rest of this. Maybe we'll do, like maybe there I could do another D minor. And then here, you know what we can do? What's happening here? Remember how it would back cycle from a G, the last chord of G? Remember how it went, Christmas now, Christmas now. Let's back cycle to this, G7 chord. So that's the original chord. We went. We're at that chord right now. Back cycle. So before that, the back cycle for this takes this note, goes here. Make a 7th chord there. Preceding that. So preceding this 5 chord, we can go. The idea of the back cycle, keep your pinky off. The idea of a back cycle is you precede it. Always you precede it. You play it before you get to the chord, or in the space of that chord, So it'd be, have yourself a little Christmas now. Cool?
Yeah.
Now, instead of that, remember the one other substitution we haven't done yet. Today is the tritone. So the tritone works like this. If we're doing this back cycle, that's a D7, 2-7. And we back cycle from here. And we're using this chord as a substitution for that back cycle, tritone. So that means go a string and a fret, and we'll do our, and then go to G, and then that's 1. looks nice. I'm doing 1 7 every time. One major 7. One major 7. That's again 8 8 and then 9 9. Put on the second string, middle finger.
Oh,
Major 7. So it's 1 on the 6th string, first finger. So 8th fret and 8th fret on the 2nd string, and then 9th fret and the 3rd string and 4th string. That most basic of 7 chord major 7 chord shapes. This is. So 8 on the 6th string, 8 on the 2nd string, 9 on the 4th string, 9 on the 1st string. We're doing that every time.
Yeah.
Chord. Okay, so let's see if I can kind of remember this. Remember we had. Cool? Okay, so we have 1. Here's the minor 6. Here's a 2 5. Here's the back cycle to that 2 5. And then instead of going back to C, I did the 3 1. And then maybe D minor. And then A minor instead of the C. C minor, and that tritone substitution. Now, of course, we do all those chords in different places too. So instead of going, I could have. I'm just doing, instead of doing the C here, I'm doing it here. So doing the A here, doing it here. So. So it sounds like a lot more, but I'm just doing the exact same chords in 2 different places. Now I'm moving all over the place, and it looks like there's a million chords, and there are a million voicings, but it's not much harmonically. It's the same thing. We have something like this. And maybe we'll turn it. Cool? I did a turnaround at the end, which is always 1 6 2 5. Whenever you're kind of holding the chord at the end, you can do that 1 6 2 5 or 3 6 2 5. Let's see, and there's some other things I kind of wrote in here. Some back cycles. At the end, when we did that last C to F, I did a back cycle going into that. And I did like alterations. Got some much more interesting things the next time around. Let me see. Like, for example, back cycling into this A minor chord, an E7. But I also did a tritone thing, or not tritone, a diminished thing. Because E7 with a flat 9 is a diminished chord. I never really looked at the diminished thing yet, but it's really, really nice. You can just kind of put that in there wherever you have a... Remember you alter the dominant when you're going to a minor. When you're doing a minor 2-5, you alter the dominant. One of those alterations is a flat 9, which is a diminished chord, which you can move around 3 frets. Let's see if I can remember how this works. That's a little more filled out version of all those chords. Cool? Had one more. There was only one more substitution in that whole thing. I did one like little sharp 5 instead of. On that C7 line with F, I just add an alteration. The difference between Christmas. Cool, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the thing to do after this is just look at the blues and see how you just do a couple of these.
Yeah.
You know, what happens with the blues is it's all 1 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens to make it a little more jazzy is you always do in the seventh measure, you do a turnaround, you do a 165.
Okay.
And then the last two measures, remember it's 12 measures long, so you have 6 measures just going like a. So 1, 2, 3, here's 1, 4, 1, and 4. You usually all do this with some kind, and then here you put 1, 6, 2, 4, and then twice as fast. That's what you do instead of keeping on with the 1. You know, usually it's 1, 4, 1, 1, 4, 4, 1, 1, 5, 4, 1, 5. You just get rid of that whole 1, 1, 5, 4, 1, 5 at the end, and you do two turnarounds. And in those turnarounds, you can do all the substitutions. So instead of like 1, 6, 2, 5, you can do 3, 6, 5, and you know you can back cycle from the 2 to get you know, and you can add alteration wherever you want. There's a million cool little things you can do with those same rules. And you know, because you can take any of those chords like that. Say you're doing 3, 6, 2, 5. You can back cycle from that 2 and go, or a tritone there. Or maybe instead of the 6, you do a tritone. 2 instead of the 5, you do a tritone. So you get cool. There's a million of those little things that will make blues sort of ever interesting, you know, just by using that one basic guideline of a turnaround and another turnaround. It has a lot to it. So instead of just sitting there going, you can do it. Now, if you have a bunch of voicings, of course, a big part of this, instead of just playing like, if you know some more voicings, like you know, for example, this one, you know, or maybe you know that up here for the 1 chord. So if you have this chord, maybe we add a little pinky to it. Instead of just doing that, you can go. And then 4 could be. And then, so I'm using those same 3 voicings. I'm doing the D here, and then up here. And then the A here, and then these 2. So you get a lot just from that, you know, 1. Now, one little substitution here. Now here's the 1, 6, 2, 5. Maybe this. One diminished there. Now, here's the other substitution. 2, 5. So that goes on forever. You know, we'll take a look at that next time. We got 28 minutes of